Good. Savage
Hello,
Patriots are
hello.
back at it in full effect. Uh,
Let's go.
the theory now is out and about, people. We have found cocaine, and I say we the people is what I mean by we, not the Savage Patriots. I wish we were the
Yeah.
ones that found the cocaine. Then we could have really blasted them. But cocaine was found in the White House. So let's see exactly if there is a two-tiered justice system, like we've been saying, or if, like the left is saying, there is none, that Hunter will actually face some charges. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with the full
Right.
details of this particular story. Man, Hunter, Hunter, Hunter. You know, I think he might have thought it might have been Parmesan cheese.
Mm-hmm.
It might have
mean-
been in the rug, and it might have been Parmesan cheese that he found.
Mhm.
But here's a
He
bigger
holds the
question.
Guinness World Record of it.
Yeah, hey. Now he was in rehab, right? Is that what the last you were here? Rehab
Yeah.
is what
Yeah.
they said. Okay,
Yeah, that's what they
Um,
said. Yeah.
if it's rehab, and this is found, and the only one in the White House
Deferment.
could have
That's what
done
it
it was him. Would that be a parole violation?
Absolutely, because on deferment, you're supposed to be going to a thing that helps you with your drug addiction. And if you're doing drugs while on a deferment, the judge is going to throw that shit out and you're going to go to jail. Well, if you were anybody else but Hunter Biden, anyway.
Oh,
That's
okay,
true.
okay.
Yeah.
See, that's
You
what I
got to be
thought.
one. You got to be one of the royalties in
Yeah,
our country to get away from
The
stuff.
neo,
Well,
the neo royalty. The
If
neo
that's the
nobility,
case, and he violated his parole,
you know.
and there is a single tier justice system in America, like we all know there is, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I don't mean white versus black, I mean elite versus not elite.
Mhm.
Um, do you believe that somehow, some way, that he is going to get jail time, especially considering that he is a repeat offender? And then, by the way, people in DC, the first time offense is 180 days and not or and $1,000 fine. The second time is double that, and up to, listen, the distribution and possession with the intent to distribute, which is also investigatable, is punishable by a period of incarceration of up to 30 years and a fine of $500,000
Oh boy.
for both.
Oh,
Okay, now let's play devil's advocate that he
Mm.
did not um, intend to distribute it, or that he did not, let's say he didn't purchase it with the intent to distribute. Of course, we can't say that, but let's say he didn't. Either way, he's looking at what? 8 and 16, so 360 days in prison and a $2,000 fine. Now,
He'd be facing 10 years, is what he should be getting.
it being found where it's found, I think should be the more egregious punishment,
Mhm.
because you took it. Now, here's the thing: how do you get into the premises of the White House with cocaine on you?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I want to know. That's my biggest question: how you get into one of the main secure areas of the White House with cocaine on you?
And you know, here's the deal: if you've ever been into a very secure place, I'm pretty sure all of us have been into like a very secured environment. Everyone gets searched. If you've
Yeah,
gone
yeah.
into a courthouse, the judge gets searched. All of everyone that passes through those doors has to go through a metal detector and some type of search. And there's dogs around. So obviously, they just bypassed the search. He could have took anything he wanted in there. He could have took fentanyl up in that place, for all we know, and nothing. They would have never found it. So it's
Mhm.
just, and going back to the point that they found it. You know, we were saying earlier, if the police knocked on my door right now and I had the same amount of cocaine sitting on the table in my house, I would have been throwing handcuffs immediately.
Yep.
Or if they
That
would have found,
Bongino?
yeah, or
Yeah,
say
that's
you
San
was
Martino.
say you was an Uber driver, right? Say you was an Uber driver and you don't have any
So here's a quick
passengers in
Hold on,
your,
don't
for,
play it yet. Don't play it yet.
you don't
No,
have
it's
any
me.
passengers. You don't have any passengers in your cars. You get pulled over by the cops. Cops go searching your car for some reason. In the back seat, they find a little bit of cocaine. It's not yours. You had another. You're an Uber driver. Guess who's going to
Right.
jail?
You're
Guess
still
who's
going to
going to
jail
jail?
because it's in your car.
So who's ever in charge of that White House, whoever found it, or if nobody fesses up, somebody needs to be held accountable, whether it's the security guys, the Secret Service, or somebody. But it's not going to happen. We all know that. Rules for thee, none for me.
Let's hear what
So-
Bongino has to say.
Yeah, if you don't know who Dan Bongino is, I mean, he's a commentator now, but he was a former Secret Service agent for a couple of different presidents. And this is what he believes happened in this whole situation.
So here's a quick explainer for Cocaine Gate for everyone who was looking for an inside perspective of what really went down. Here's the issue here. There's going to be a lot of commentary on this from people who have not done security or aren't even remotely familiar with how security at the White House even works. It's a roughly 18-acre complex. So here's the thing. It's surrounded by magnetometers and checkpoints. They all have numbers and names. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but whatever. Zebra 62 for the sake of this video here. You can only enter that complex through, say, Zebra 62 and Zebra 61 and these other specific checkpoints. You can't get dropped in from the roof. You can't get tunneled in from below. You have to go in through one of those checkpoints. They surround the entire 18 acres. So whether this cocaine was found in the Lincoln bedroom or in, say, the diplomatic reception room, it doesn't matter. Somebody had to bypass a security magnetometer checkpoint to get that in there. Do you understand? It doesn't matter. Once the 18-acre complex is like a ring surrounding the whole thing. The only way to get in is to go through one of those checkpoints, right? So now you have to ask yourself, well, who could have possibly went through a checkpoint and brought cocaine in? The answer is no one. It's someone who would have bypassed the checkpoints. Well, who bypasses the checkpoints? The Secret Service with the protectees. Biden, the Biden family members, Jill Biden. The Secret Service doesn't go through the checkpoints. They have guns. What the hell are they going to go through the checkpoints for? To detect guns? And they bring the protectees with them. The Secret Service didn't have cocaine on them. So it had to be one of the protectees. There's no other explanation. They would never have gotten through the checkpoint. There's not a chance in hell. They were driven in, probably one of the family members was likely driven in by the Secret Service who had it on him, found it, and just left it in the White House. It's a simple explanation, man. Occam's razor. Keep it simple, stupid. Sad, but true. That is most likely what happened. It's the only way that would have got in there. No one's getting in the 18-acre complex. Nobody. Not staff, no one else with cocaine on them, period. There you go. There's your explainer in 2.5 minutes or less.
Okay.
I mean,
So it proves to me that either Hunter or Joe or one of the other so-called protectees brought it in.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't just fall from the ceiling. It's not dust. It's not asbestos. And how do we know it's not asbestos? And how do we know it's not just dust or white paint? Well, you know that they did a chemical analysis of it, right? So here's a chemical analysis of it, people.
To repeat, I didn't copy your results on the Gemini.
Gemini's results are no match found with a red bar, no match found in the library. We'll go ahead and bag and come on up. Correction record has that we have a result on the Gemini. We have a yellow bar stating cocaine, hydrochloride, gas number 53-21-4.
To repeat, I didn't copy your results on the Gemini.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's coming
So-
from them themselves.
there you go. Oh my gosh.
So cocaine. Okay. So let's do some. We'll work. I want to work from some two angles. Okay. I'm going to work from a what if and a what now. Okay. So the what if is what if that was Eric, or what if that was Melania, or what if that was Ivanka, or what if that was Donald himself.
We all know where that would go.
Would this be,
would be-
not just public news, but like infiltration? This is the kind of family they are. Let's go wrangle him up,
Mhm.
toss him in prison, not another trial, impeachment. Would that be the case? And what now? Meaning, now that they've solidified that it is indeed cocaine, and there is a family member that has a history of smoking it and snorting it out of carpets. And carpe diem, seize the cocaine. You know,
Cocaine.
carpet diem, seize the cocaine. If that's the case, should Biden be held responsible for allowing his son to have it on him, much less bringing it in? And if he is held responsible, what should happen?
The dude should be facing real jail time.
It should be a fine like every other citizen, but he is held to a higher standard. I don't see it as an impeachable offense, but you can add that to the list of impeachable offenses. But one of them need to be held accountable, whether it's they pay a huge fine because, again, they are held to a higher standard than the average American. Whether, I forget what you said the fine was earlier, it should be almost triple that, quadruple that, to set a precedence. Like, hey, you're the president of the United States. This can't happen. So your fine is $10 million. I don't know, gazillion dollars. You know what I mean? So
he should lose his deal.
Or he should lose. Or Hunter Biden, if it is his, he needs to lose his clearance. He needs to lose his access to all that stuff.
Yeah,
someone needs to be held accountable. But it's like we said earlier, it's not going to happen, man. You know it. It's another shiny object. We always talk about shiny objects on this show. Yes, we want to know whose it is. Of course, inquiring minds want to know.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think? Now, let's think like Savage Patriots think. Do you think this is just another shiny object?
No.
To take our focus off of something? Okay.
No, this is just a usual F up by the usual F up person. So I'm going to go with the Occam's razor, and the simplest solution is the most correct answer, which is Hunter Biden is a drug addict who is currently on deferment for gun-related charges while buying a firearm on crack and cocaine, right?
Indeed.
Who has been invited to the White House not once but twice since that plea deal, and he probably brought cocaine, did a bump, dropped it when he was putting it back in his pocket, and left. That's probably what happened. Is just a drug addict messed up, because we all know drug addicts and how they act, and they lose stuff all the time. They just drop things everywhere, or they steal your stuff. One of the two. You should probably go in the White House and make sure things aren't missing. That's what you really should be doing.
I mean,
because he might have been sticky fingers at the same time.
TikTok right now is undefeated. Did you see the Dave Chappelle one where they put Hunter's face on Dave Chappelle? He was like, "Red balls, it's got wings." That was hilarious. TikTok, hey, who's ever doing those things, they're winning right now.
Keep it up.
It's hilarious. Yeah, keep it up. It's hilarious.
So I think in terms of what if? Oh, it would be a liberal media field day type slaughter for the Trumps if it was him.
Oh yeah. If this was Trump White House, it would be without a doubt all over front page.
And if it was and if we're doing a what now, all things fair, arrest him. His deferment is gone. He needs to face the fullest maximum penalty, because Hunter is still a civilian.
Mm-hmm.
And so by civilian standards, he ought to. But like you said, bro.
Okay, so here's what it says. Hunter Biden was charged with violating a provision of the 18 U.S. Code 922 that prohibits anyone from possessing a firearm, a charge that carries a maximum penalty of 10 years and a fine or both. But the charge will be cleared from his record following diversion program that will require him to remain drug-free for 2 years and commit to never owning a firearm again. He also agreed to plead guilty to 2 violations of 26 U.S. Code 7203 for failing to pay more than $100,000 in taxes at the time for income in excess of $1.5 million in both 2017 and 2018. The charges carry up to a year in prison or $25,000 or both.
Felonies.
Though people familiar with the deal told the Washington Post prosecutors will recommend 2 years of probation.
Of
Now,
course.
any other individual with those charges against them would never even sniff probation as an option, much less as something that you can bargain with. Now,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
him staying clean for 2 years, and this
He
particular
didn't even make it.
deal was only made this year, he barely made 4 months. Now, I look, hear me out. If you find cocaine in a location where a crackhead was about 2 days before, the only thing I could assume is that the crackhead had the cocaine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can't assume some random person just had cocaine laying around and he's been to the White House. Look, this is all hunters. And as much as we want to give, some people want to give Joe Biden the pass, there is no pass.
Nope.
There is zero pass on this. And we're not even talking about the fact that we don't like Joe Biden or his family. That's aside from the point. If you are going to go around the place telling everybody equal is the law, you can't, no one's above the law and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden you have this. Now, this is for me, Michael, this is why I don't consider it a shiny object, because what this will do, if it goes the way I know it will go, which is he will get nothing done to him, it will prove the double standard to many. Which is a good thing. It's not really a shiny object to me, because what it'll end up doing for those who are fence riding, it'll kick them over to the I can't trust that family side of the fence.
Okay, I got one thing to point out. So with this, if we go with Michael's assertion, right, is this a shiny object? It could be, but not in the way that you think, because this is the Democrats trying to get rid of Biden.
Yeah.
Right. They do not want him to run in 2024. Right. So the last couple of weeks, last couple of months, or actually I'd say last month or so, the Democrats have somehow let the media know that it's okay to start questioning the Bidens now and the press secretary, and they've been pushing her hard, right? If you haven't noticed, the last couple of press events with them, and she's not answering anything, but they're pressing her. So that's the shiny object. You want to put it that way. It's like, yeah, we're being shown this, but why are we being shown this? Because they've been protecting him up to this point, right?
And there's a lot of reasons. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons. Like, and I agree that, you know, they really don't want Biden to run. They want to push this guy out, but they never came out and said it publicly, right?
Yeah.
So they're looking for any reason. At this point, the Biden family and Joe Biden and his family is considered a liability. You know what I mean? Because if they keep doing all this stuff, it's going to be hard to charge any American citizen with what they did. Because like Marlon and Coy said, that it's going to raise a red flag, especially in the judicial system. They're going to be like, wait a minute. I did the same exact thing, and then I mean to the T, that this guy did. But how come they got this, but my poor butt got this? You know what I mean? So it's going to start raising all these red flags, and it's kind of a good thing, because then a Supreme Court's really going to have to take a step back and look at our judicial system and the DOJ as a whole. They're going to be like, wait a minute, something's not right here. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to be that transition. I think this is how my mind works. Like always, we're going to transition into true constitutional law and true constitutional, justice.
Also, like, even if you have money, like Wesley Snipes, you're still going to jail for that. He went to jail for 3 years.
Yeah, but
black,
Wesley, he's black.
It's true. He wasn't white enough. That's what it was.
He had to be from the mountains of Caucasus.
750 credit card is sitting there.
You guys know we're kidding. Just
go ahead and play that beautiful beam footage of the bump.
Now here it is.
And there it is, right there.
Boom. Right there. Now look at Jill. Now watch Jill. Go back. Watch Jill when he passes her.
Yeah,
she knows.
And they
see how she knows.
And this dude is strung out. You can see
look at him
in the video.
You can see it.
Look at the oil over his nose. Look at the sweat. Look at his eyes.
Yeah, he just had a bump. And then you see this.
Look at Jill. Jill looks back. You see the uncomfortable look on her face. And then there's this buddy over here to the right, further right. That's just, he already knows what he did. He's over there dying, laughing.
Yeah.
Or Joe's just oblivious to it, to Hunter's actions.
No,
Joe he's that dumb.
There's
Joe knows.
no way.
Perhaps.
Jill knows. Jill knows. Jill, especially if any one of them knows and is enabling, it's Jill. And this, okay, so KCB, this is exactly what I said about 3 years ago now. 2 years ago? 2 years ago. Gavin visited the White House while Biden was not there and had a meeting. Okay. No one fully knew what the meeting was about, but he was there for a long period of time in the day. Came there, met with Harris and the rest of the staff while Biden was out. I have zero doubt that their plan, just like Coy said, is to leave Biden out of the running and push Newsom as the replacement to run alongside Harris in the
Oh,
second term. Now, remember, Gavin and Harris worked together before.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, they were both members of the government down there in California, so they have an idea of how to work in tandem with each other. This is nothing new.
And Kamala cannot run because she's a word salad waiting. Like, just every time she speaks, just nothing but garbage comes out
Who
of her
was it that
mouth.
was it you guys that sent that one?
Yeah, well,
Word
you know, the
salad
rumor
one?
is
Oh.
that Michelle's running, that she's going to throw
No,
her
she's
name
not.
in.
She's not going to run. I think what she'll end up doing is being a lame duck kind of idea that they'll put out there in the ether to see if someone will bite, but ain't nobody gonna bite on Michael.
Big Mike.
I'm going to give a wonderful quote here for
It'll
people,
be
and this is a life changing quote for me. When I first read it, it altered everything I ever knew about life. Okay, so listen carefully. I'm going to read it as the way it hit me and hit my heart. Okay, culture is. It is a reflection of our moment and our time, right? Present culture is the way we express how we're feeling about the moment, and we should always find time to express how we feel about the moment. That is a reflection of joy, because you know it comes in the morning. Yeah, that was
That,
Kamala
that
Harris. By the way.
yeah, it sounded like something she would say. You know,
Time.
well, we go to space in a rocket ship, and the rocket ship,
It
when it
takes
goes
off.
into space,
Do not
you know,
come.
it goes out there, and
Do not
there's no gravity. And then when you're in this rocket, we go to space, and everybody's like, "Yeah, oh yeah, we go to space." Freaking idiot.
For everyone
Cocaine is
out
a hell of a drug.
That's right. All right, so every time somebody talks about Hunter, every few we'll play cocaine's a hell of a
Cocaine's
drug.
a hell of a drug.
Just so people know.
That's also not the only person I think of when I think of Hunter Biden. It's Roxo, the rock and roll clown. If you've never
Any
seen
language?
I don't remember. Hang on, let me check.
Play it
her
real
thing.
quick.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need language, Coy.
I mean, it was. Yeah,
I'm going to play it first. Play it first of yourself so you can know whether or not it is in
Yeah.
there. The thing about this whole thing is this, right? Everybody knows that Biden is not either the real thing, and if he is the real thing, he's gone through multiple plastic surgeries to try and look different. And he wears contacts, but he's definitely something that's not right upstairs. Okay, whoever the person is being Biden right now has problems, which is why I do not see. Now, remember, also during Trump's era, Pelosi was trying to push for a change to the 25th Amendment. I don't know how many people remember that, right?
I think I remember that.
And soon after that, it was around the same time that Biden was trying to put his name in the hat. Now, I could see them trying to use and herald back to that to bring into fruition the removal of Biden from office. And if them doing it instead of the Republicans doing it, I think for them, they think they will gain some of the voters back because they will be coming across like, we noticed that he wasn't the right guy and we removed him. See how much we care. I could easily see them doing that. So it's a crazy, crazy thing. I agree, Doug. 100% agree. She has
I saw that and I laughed out loud.
a really long neck. Good for her truth.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, so it doesn't have any language, but I'm not going to show the whole clip. I just want to show like part of it.
But going back to your point about how the Democrats coming forward, they'll be removing Joe Biden. They'll have a press conference and all this stuff, right? And just like good little sheep, all the little monkeys that voted for him, they're going to be all the mental midgets. Oh, we knew he was too old. Oh, God bless the Democratic Party for looking out for the old, the elderly. No, we've been saying this from day one. Now you guys care about his mental health. You know what I mean? So, and they're just going to play him. And then Kamala's going to take over, like you said, and Mr. Newsom's going to come flying in. And then they're going to have, the Antichrist in the White House with the Jezebel. And the apocalypse will happen.
Let's see what this is.
His name is Dr. Roxo. He's the rock and roll clown. He does cocaine. And I'm afraid that's all we know.
Dr. Roxo, the rock and roll clown. I do cocaine.
Yeah, that's what I think every time now.
That's
Hunter totally Biden. Hunter. That's for
Hunter.
sure.
You'd be like, I'm Hunter Biden, the president's son, and I do cocaine. Lots of cocaine. Wait till tomorrow. I can't wait till tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that was good. That was good.
Oh, yeah.
I'll make a prediction, though. I'll make a prediction.
What's that?
It will go really quiet. You won't hear any more information about the cocaine drop. Okay, it'll go dog silent. And then when the room goes dog silent about that, you will hear more talk about Biden's campaign for 2024. And then they'll tell you that the cocaine thing was a mishap and it'll go away fully. Not even Fox will report on it. They'll act like it never happened. And if you talk about it after this point, you're going to get censored.
Yep.
That's what's going to start happening.
I can see that.
Period, point blank. They're going to start. And they already put, didn't they just put an injunction?
Yeah.
They did.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
the Biden administration is
again,
against it.
I don't trust these people, man. I do not trust. I think everything is just, it's a movie to us. It's smoke and mirrors. They're all in it, man. I don't care. They are all in on it. And they're playing a game with us. It's all mind games. Let's get this judge over here to put an injunction on them and talk about social media to keep people happy. But they're still censoring stuff. Like I tried to put the thumbnail up earlier today, and Facebook wouldn't allow it up. And then I kept trying, and finally they allowed it. So it's still happening. And I even crossed out cocaine. I just said Coke or COT, and they still wouldn't allow me to post it. So it's still happening, man. This is it's all lip service, man. And like you said, I think this is going to go away. Something's going to happen. Another big thing. They're already talking about cluster bombs in Ukraine and all this other stuff, them bombing some nuclear facility. Watch, they'll make this disappear. And just like good little sheep, all the mental midgets in America, their focus will shift.
I mean, I hope so, but
you won't hear about it again.
This is what they've been, like I said, the gloves have been off on the Bidens for a couple of weeks now.
One more on cocaine. How determined is the president to get to the bottom of who brought illegal drugs into the White House?
Secret Service is getting to the bottom of it, and that's what matters, and it's under their purview.
But the question was, how determined is the president?
The president thinks it's very important to get to the bottom of this. That's why Secret Service, which is under their purview, is looking into this. And they're going to look into what happened this weekend. So the president thinks it is incredibly important to get to the bottom of this.
Will the administration be appealing the injunction, the ruling?
I just said the DOJ is reviewing this injunction, and they're going to evaluate their options. So it's for their decision to make.
And can you just respond to the judge's accusation that each topic suppressed by the administration was a conservative view? He had a pretty strong statement. The U.S. government seems to have assumed a role similar to an Orwellian Ministry of Truth. Can you respond to that?
I'm just not going to
She's not wrong.
To the Attorney General or the judge. I'll let the Department of Justice do that.
And then I know you can't talk about 2024.
This is like the sixth question.
I know, I'm sorry. I'll let you go after this. I know you can't talk about 2024, but how will this ruling impact the administration's efforts to get its messaging out ahead of the election?
I'm just not going to speak about 2024. We respect the rule of law. And
oh, please.
Right. It's the funniest thing I've ever heard. We respect the rule of law.
And that Pierre chick, that clown lady,
she hates her job.
She's going to get a job on some major news network. She's going to have a book deal, and she's going to be put in the spotlight right after this. Ooh, man.
That's what Peppermint Patty did, right? She had a book deal and an MSNBC.
And she was horrible. But This is the world we live in, man. You know, the Ministry of Truth, that wasn't something new. They were talking about that, last year, the year before? They was talking about having a Ministry of Truth, and they're going to have people monitor social media and determine, and they did it. You know, and this is some Orwellian stuff that we're living through. A lot of people don't know it because they're comfortable with their life and it's not affecting them, but it is affecting a lot of people who are trying to put out the truth. And this is why you don't see it, because it's being censored.
It'll go nowhere. Hunter will face no time. You will see more and more of the people that want to talk about it get shut down. And this will get swept under the rug, and people, just like with his laptop, you ain't gonna hear about it.
Nope.
Until somebody decides that this is something important. And I don't know when that's actually going to happen.
I mean, what was the show we did when we talked about Hunter? Was it the laptop a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And remember when we
were
said
talking about
even
his deal,
yeah, remember we said on that show, it was like, watch, you'll see after this, you're not going to hear anything about it. And have we heard anything about it since? Nope, we haven't. And like I said, let's take their focus off the laptop for a little bit. Put some cocaine in West Wing.
We're gonna highlight that bad boy.
You know what I mean?
We gonna highlight that bad boy.
Highlight what?
Do you remember
the laptop?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember when he said that he would step away and fake an illness if it came down to it for?
I heard that. Yeah.
For those that haven't heard this before, and that kind of makes you wonder what's actually going on behind the scenes with everything.
They know exactly what's going on. Here's what I think. That, you know, the Democratic Party knew Joe Biden was a fit from the day he stepped onto the debate stage. From when he stepped up there, they knew he was unfit to be president. The country knew, the world knew, everyone knew he was the laughing stock of the debates. Joe Biden was put in place for a reason. Joe Biden was put in place to cause all the chaos that we see now. Order out of chaos. You may not seem like it's chaotic, but it is chaotic. Food prices are up. Inflation is up. Gas prices are up. You know, your energy bills are up. Huh?
Bidenomics. That's what
Bidenomics. The dollar,
Yeah,
the dollar
Bidenomics.
right now, the dollar is worth the same amount as the Iraqi dinar. That's crazy. You know what I mean? So Biden.
Wait, which dinar? The one before or after the
Well,
invasion?
the current one, not the one. The current Iraqi dinar. So it's probably one of the bottom ones. But order out of chaos.
Say that again.
The Iraqi dinar. The dollar is at the same. It was a couple days ago. I don't know if it fluctuates, but the dollar is at the same level as the Iraqi dinar.
Basically worthless.
Worth the same amount.
The U.S. dollar.
The U.S. dollar. And you're frozen.
Yeah, he's froze. There
Oh,
you go.
now you're
Okay,
not.
Okay.
There
Okay. Okay.
But,
Let me
you're
check and
asking-
make sure you're right.
While you're doing that, can we play
Let me check
the
this
clip?
here.
As I wanted to prove to everybody that this is what Biden was saying before he even was elected. This is when he was president-elect, when he's talking about the Kamala Harris thing.
All kidding aside,
The first lady to be told me she holds them for you.
yes, she does, but not with she and Kamala become friends.
Yeah.
But all kidding aside, it's a matter of the thing. We are simpatico on our philosophy of government and simpatico on how we want to approach these issues that we're facing. And so I don't have, and when we disagree, it'll be just like, so far it's been just like when Barack and I did. It's in private. She'll say, I think we should do A, B, C, or D. And I'll say, I like A, don't like B and C. And let's go, okay. And I told Barack, if I reach something where there's a fundamental disagreement we have based on a moral principle, I'll develop some disease and say I have to resign. We don't have that. We haven't, and we discussed at length our views on foreign policy, on domestic policy, on intelligence. And the great thing is she has a background in the Senate on intelligence, the Intelligence Committee. She has a background in the Senate on a whole range of things that are going to be pertinent to what we have to do. But it's going to be, I think so much is going to be incoming, Jake.
Yeah.
It's a matter about who takes what when.
Yeah.
I don't need to tell you, Mr. President-elect, that the NAACP.
Yeah.
He
If
said
she's
this on
considered-
CNN.
If she's considered intelligent, I'm freaking Stephen Hawking.
She was
know
on
what
the
I mean?
intelligence committee, so she's intelligent.
But you notice, like, go back and just like, and for all the people out there watching, go back and watch Joe Biden. Watch him with a teleprompter, and then watch him speaking off the cuff.
Watch him walk upstairs, bro.
Yeah, watch the differences. You'll see when he just talks, he says stuff like that. He says stuff because he's not smart. So he says stuff that he probably shouldn't have said, but he's telling you the truth. But when he's speaking in his teleprompter, of course, he's reading exactly what they tell him to read. So he makes slip ups like that.
Because he can't even do that, dude.
Yeah, but he does slip ups like that. So he's telling you exactly what's going to happen. Was he supposed to do it? No, he wasn't supposed to do it. But did he do it? Of course he did it, because Mr.
You're not wrong.
Joe, whoever the hell's under that mask, Biden.
Joe Mama.
And there's also another thing that people tend to forget is that does anybody really think that Joe Biden is running the show?
No.
Like in the least bit?
No.
Because I also remember this being
what you know now. Do you wish you had a third term? And I used to say, you know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with that.
That was rich.
But back to that video again. These people tell us exactly what they're going to do. Yep. Obama told us right there. Yeah, this is what I'm going to do.
He wanted a third term.
Yeah, he wants a third term. He was telling us that he's going to do it, but he made it sound like tongue in cheek. If I can,
I'm really serious.
Have somebody stand in for me. No. You know exactly what you was going to do, and you got your guy to stand in for you. So you're doing exactly what you said.
How bad he was going to F it up.
Look, didn't they say there wasn't a rumor, and it was a rumor. Wasn't there a rumor some time ago that there was a video that Obama did with Oprah in his basement of his own house? I think this was during the quarantine time.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in sweats. And he was asked about something about Biden. And he said something to the effect of, "I think we have that under control." I don't know how many. Do you remember, Coy? Do you remember findings or seeing something like that? I remember seeing an interview with him and Oprah, and he was in sweats, gray sweats, and I think he was in his basement. And he said something along those lines. And people just were like, "Oh, that's just he make a joke with Oprah kind of thing."
That's Barack. I love Barack.
But here's also another quote from Barack Obama. If you've never seen this one before, according to a unnamed Democrat during the 2020 primary campaign, in which he declined to endorse any candidate, don't underestimate Joe's ability to F things up.
Oh, he's notorious for that, though.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, do you guys think Joe Biden was put in place because they knew he was going to do this? You know what I mean? They wanted this
chaos kind of thing.
Yeah. Control chaos. They put him in there because they knew this was they wanted this to happen. Joe's nothing more than a fall guy like that big goof Fetterman. They're fall guys. Joe Biden's old, he's decrepit. Let's put a fall guy in there. He'll never run for public office again. Let's get this old senior citizen in here to mess things up. And then when he's out of office, he can just disappear and nobody will remember him. He's old. That's all we got to say. He's old. Then Joe could say, "Well, I have dementia. That's why I was all messed up." And we could blame it on that. And no one would care.
And then they can keep the policies and say, "We're just going to make them better."
Yes.
Make them the way he should have made them if he was sober minded.
That's right.
I can see that. I can see that. And
Yeah,
I can also see something happening to this so-called Biden that would put a kibosh on election day.
Yes.
And they just have a continuation and have Kamala take over for a bit. And when it's time, they usher in Newsom. I could easily see that.
And you're right, because I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they said exactly what you've been saying. The guy came out there. I forget what the name of it. If I can find it, I'll send it to you. But he said, I don't think there's going to be a 2024 election. I was like, man, you've been listening to the Savage Patriots, ain't you? But it was a big podcast. And no, before I get to that point, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, and they've been saying a lot of the things we've been saying, man. And I'm talking about podcasts that came after ours. And I'm like, y'all been listening to our podcast. Just give us a little shout out or something. But anyways, this guy said the same thing. He said, I don't think there's going to be a 2024 election. And I forget what reasons he laid out. The biggest one he talked about was economic collapse. He was like, that's going to hit us hard, and it's going to start this year. It's going to start this year, and it's going to roll into 2024, and they're not going to be able to have the election because the economy is going to be so jacked up. So I don't know. Maybe you're the oracle, Marlon. I don't know. Maybe you're right.
It'll be a combination, because if you look at the way that the United States has been treating Russia right now, right, and Vladimir Putin has said there is no world without Russia, and what he really means, there is no world without me in charge of Russia, right? So if he really is on the losing end of this war, especially after the coup, there's no way he doesn't use a nuke before he pulls out. He's going to level that place to the ground and leave it a burning crater before he gives it up at this point, right?
I could see that too.
So there's a use of nuclear weapons, which hasn't happened since Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? Who in their right mind is going to say, hey, we should hold elections right now when the world is in such a crisis? Obviously, to do that. And on top of that, adding in economic instability because of Bidenomics. On top of that, they're going to say the world is too unstable for us to let in somebody new.
That's right.
Who doesn't know what they're doing, right? Or better yet, if Donald Trump gets elected, we cannot let somebody who is unhinged, who is a criminal, they'll put it like that, because if he's arrested and he's charged and he still wins, they can't let a criminal in the White House who favors Russia after they just use nukes.
But you know, and that is a great point. But think about this. Think about how what Biden's setting up. He's already approved another 800 million or something like that for Ukraine. They're going to send over cluster bombs. Would have been that it's been against, you know, war, conventional war, Geneva Convention for years. So if you're over there sending over cluster bombs, and you're right, Putin's not going to take that, man. I don't think Putin's going to drop an actual nuke. I think he'll do something like Chernobyl, you know, blow up a nuclear.
They're saying they'll do.
Yeah, blow up a nuclear power plant or whatever like that. But I don't think they'll actually just, you know, hit a button. I think they're just going to blow up a plant. It's going to be like Chernobyl. They're going to lay up, you know, poison a place, poison a certain province of Ukraine to create more distance between Russia and Ukraine. You know what I mean? But that's a possibility. And it's hard to get a new president in if you're in an active conflict like that. A lot of times they won't do it.
It all makes sense, all of it, when you think about what the option they have. And this is an unfortunate thing. The Democrats have options. Republicans only have one. And the one option they have is to, wherever they have power, to weed out the ones that are trying to usurp America's dominance here. I don't care about our dominance overseas. I'm talking about just American way. If we don't do something, the Democrats, the leftists, the centrists that are more to the left are going to eventually do exactly what Soros wanted happening way back when Barack took over, which was the demise of America. He had spoken about it. He spoke about it about 25, 30 years ago.
Yep. I remember that.
He was in an interview saying it. He said directly that the only thing standing in the way of the New World Order was America.
Yep.
With their Western ideologies and their freedom thinking. And the only way he can destroy it is from the inside out. What do you think started happening? Why do you think it is that all these elected officials started having source money behind them? DAs. And this is how now remember we kept talking about, you know, deal with your locals, and that will help with the changing of America. George Soros took that to heart. He started buying DAs, sheriffs, mayors, governors. He bought them all. And what ended up happening was when they finally ushered in 2019 and the illness, he had his people doing exactly what was needed to destroy the American economy. He left them in place so that when we were trying to climb back out of it, he could destroy it even more.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and we haven't been doing anything about it. We've not been focused on the local elections. We've not been focused on keeping these clowns out. And then you see people like in New York where they let go de Blasio and they let that other dark clown in there just as bad. You let go the Beetlejuice and something just as bad moves in with the other dark. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at it, the cycle is continuing,
Oh man.
even though they call it change.
Yeah.
And you're right, you know, and we always talk about, especially on Savage Patriots, those that have been following us for the year and a half that we've been around, right? Everything that happens is our fault.
Mm-hmm.
It is our fault. No matter, we can sit up here and complain and cry. And when I say all, I mean all of us too. You know why? Because we're comfortable. We look at our lives like, my life is good. I don't care. You know, and yes, we are supposed to take care of our own first. But then we get so comfortable, they start doing stuff like this. They start sliding in. And then you get elected officials that are working for George Soros sliding in and doing his deeds. Their goal, and like Marlon said, George Soros has always wanted to take out America. And it's not the government. The government's easy to buy. It's hard to convince the people. So, and this is why you notice that they're going after the people. They're just hammering down on us so hard. Pay attention to what's going on and don't be afraid to call them out.
Yep.
I believe in violence myself, but that's just me. I'm just saying.
One of the things I wanted to show people, since we were talking about cluster munitions, the reason why it's so important is because cluster munitions are something that are indiscriminate. If you've never seen cluster munitions work in real life, I've got a video to actually show you why it's such a big deal in the first place.
Exactly.
And this is an F-16 dropping some.
Oh,
yeah. So this is an indiscriminate bombing. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, so what are they intending to use that for? Because like a lot of there's video footage of Russia using cluster munitions in Syria, which I had up a second ago. I'm going to bring it up again, just to give you an understanding of what this actually means when you're sending these types of weapons to Ukraine. It's not meant. It's meant for military targets, or it's supposed to be, but it's not going to be used for military targets.
No.
It's going to be used for civilian targets. Marlon, can you bring that up?
And here's the thing with the cluster bombs, as they're bringing this video up. When they drop those things, not all of them explode either.
Yeah. This is from Syria, by the way, when Russia was dropping them. On a civilian center. So you saw what it already did before. And this is what they're going to end up doing with it being sent to Ukraine. It's going to be used on Russian cities. There's no other explanation for that.
And to get back to the point about Vladimir Putin, if a country was cluster bombing your people, what would be your option? Honestly,
they're also selling the jets too.
You'd be angry, and you'd be like, "Okay, I'm about to shut them up right now." Yeah. They're poking the bear, man. That's what I think. They're poking Putin. They're poking Putin. They're poking him. They want him to do it.
Pushing him.
They're pushing him to do this.
Nuclear weapon.
Mm-hmm.
You guys remember in 1998 the ruble crashing?
Mm-hmm.
And you remember who was behind that?
Yeah.
In case y'all don't remember who was behind the 98 crash, it was Mr. Soros himself.
Oh, yeah.
And he took pride in understanding that he made backdoor deals to create that happening. Fast forward to 2014, he did it again. And he did it also to the euro. Okay, so he's gone through systematically to every empire that exists, systematically crashing the economy to benefit not just his investors, but the ultimate plan that he has in his back pocket, which is carrying on the exact same thing that for the person he worked for as a youth. I'm not going to say that guy's name. We all know who that person was, Mr. Stash.
He made his money selling Jews. That's what he made his money.
Same thing he's doing now. And so when you look at things and you look at why he has his hand in American economy and a hand in American politics, he's doing the exact same thing he did in 1998 with the ruble. And in 2014, he influenced the governmental policies in order to create the crisis of the dollar and to crash the economy so he can have investment funds coming into him so he can now dictate on a world scale policies for that country. You have a lot more going on now than just this Hunter Biden thing. And I know you people might think we're straight, but it's linked in, and this is why it's linked in.
Yeah.
If you can create for yourself a lack of trust on a public scale in a certain thing, an ideal, like they've been trying to do in the schools with the whole idea of America, get rid of it. Even in their process of showing their bias of a two-tiered system, they're still making what works for them work, because they're still making America look bad. And there'll be less trust in America even rebounding after this. And in that way, they still win. Even if we do see people coming around and saying, man, that is a double standard, it's not going to change a whole lot unless we start putting things in place to kick Soros out of his hands, out of government. And you right now, with Burisma and everything to do with Ukraine, the only person behind both of those things is still him.
Yeah.
He's still the father behind both of them. So which means he technically is paying both Hunter and Joe. He's the mastermind behind both Joe, and he was also behind Barack. Let's not get it twisted. Soros was the man all over Barack. Okay, that was his fingerprints everywhere. Everything from the agenda of the LGBTQ to the way he created chaos in the economy that he left behind. All of it, every one of it is something that he said he was planning to do from the beginning anyway.
Yeah.
He's succeeding. He's like I think he's done enough time to perfect it now.
And now with like between 2020 and all that stuff, you also think he was also behind the whole BLM riot and all that stuff too.
Yeah, he plays a big hand in a lot of the chaos because he's feeding it money. But you know, people have to ask yourself, you know, who elected these guys? Who elected Soros? Who elected Klaus Schwab? Who elected
Useful
the
idiots.
WHO guy? Who are these guys that are dictating what we do in America? We didn't elect them. I don't know who the hell they are, but see, they're being allowed to dictate what goes on in our country. Klaus Schwab has come out and said, this is what we're going to do. The leader of the WHO has come out and dictate if there's another pandemic, they can come in and dictate. They constitutionally, they don't have the right to dictate anything in our country. But what's going on in our country right now is that we're being fed what we were taught. We're being fed disinformation, right? You know, they're changing the Constitution. They're changing the Declaration of Independence. They're not teaching it in school. Kids aren't learning civics. Kids aren't learning all this. So all these outside entities that come into our country and dictate what we're doing, these kids don't know that it's unconstitutional. And it's a generational thing.
And it's not just that, but I remember back when I was in high school some years back where they literally said that we are now global citizens, which means eject the whole idea of eject the whole notion of you know, sovereign autonomy as a nation state. You know, we're all global citizens now. We need to adopt this multiculturalism and all that BS. And here we are now, 2023, where kids don't even recognize what the First Amendment is, the Second Amendment. All they know are buzzwords, and they have no idea. Like you said, how does a bill work?
I heard a really good joke earlier,
the world.
which was if you went around with a clipboard for signatures, right, asking people to sign a movement to end women's suffrage, people would sign it because they would say, "Oh man, I don't want women to suffer."
I believe it.
That's true.
I believe that.
It's like, do you know what suffrage means? It's like, no, I don't want them to suffer. That's so mean.
But
patriarchy must come down. That's all you would have to do is say it's against the patriarchy. We have to get rid of suffrage for women.
You see stuff like that all the time, though. Mark Dice used to go out and do that.
He still
does.
does.
And still does. And people were willing to sign over anything, any right. We want to get rid of freedom of speech because, you know, people don't agree with the LGBTQ, and we want to get rid of that part of the speech. And people will actually sign off on that stuff. That's
just like how
crazy.
they said they weren't coming for our guns. They're also not coming for our speech, right? The First Amendment's still there. It's like we're not coming after your assault speech, okay? All right, just certain people shouldn't be allowed to say anything. That's all.
Period. Yeah.
As long as it's even if you are factually correct, you're politically incorrect. So we must make sure that you don't say anything ever again. So
like words are violence, but so is
words
silence.
are violence. assault language and speech, assault speech. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's
but
going to be the
so
new
is
thing.
silence is
Honestly,
also
they're going to say it.
violence.
Let's just fight already.
Remember the whole adage, "Sticks and stones may break my bones." Well, they take that literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we
Words
just
literally
get to
break
sticks and
bones to
stones
them.
then? Can we get to the sticks and stones? Because I have a few.
Yeah. Can we just get it over with, man? You know how
Yeah.
history repeats itself. Like
Just go back to yard. We'll go yard ball.
Can
We'll
we
go
just
yard ball.
do it already? Let's just
We'll
end
do,
this.
we'll, we'll
Winner
do
takes all.
tetherball disagreement. Fine, fun. We'll just fight over the tetherball.
Because us conservatives, we're out here. People on the right, we're out here. We're voicing our opinion, but the left is way louder, man. They're way louder. They own everything. They own movies, music, schools, books. I mean, Hollywood, news, radio, social media.
It's
own
coming
it
back
all.
around a little bit. It's a little bit coming back around because
Yeah,
you got to
it-
see
it-
how Indiana Jones just flopped, but Sound of
Mhm.
Freedom is beating it out right now.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true.
Sound of Freedom is propaganda, and you know it.
It's
That's what
Christian
they'll say.
propaganda, didn't you hear?
It's even worse. Yeah,
because
it's even
only
worse.
Christians care about children being kidnapped and sex trafficked.
Yes, they
only
should.
Christians, right?
As they should.
So they won't say that about Muslims, though, but only
No.
Christians.
So what we are going to do tomorrow, people, we have quite a show for you tomorrow. In case you missed it, the Savage Patriots have recently come into possession of something that has started circulating. I don't know about the rest of them, but I for sure know that what I'm seeing in that thing is legit because I was one of the first few to see the original laptop before it got sequestered away. I managed to get quite a few looks of the images and the videos that were on that laptop and know for a fact because there was a Chinese firm that dropped it. Then there was a Ukrainian firm that dropped it. Long before Giuliani and them got involved, it was out there. And some of us saw it. I was one of them. I know what I saw. And the images in this particular thing that we're going to show you tomorrow is directly from that laptop. Now, this is that. Okay. So I'll give you the preview of it like that. But to get the full effect of this, you have to be on Rumble tomorrow. When I tell you, when you see it and understand it fully, you will have a much clearer understanding of why it is Hunter is so much the focal point of protection for the senile old bat.
Mm-hmm.
The linchpin right now to people seeing who Joe Biden was, not just now, but way back then to now, is incredible. And I think what this will end up showing, at least it showed me, was there was a reason why Bo died. Bo did not just die from something ailment in his head. His father ended him because his son was having an affair with the man's child. Okay? A underaged girl. Just want to put that out there, and I'll explain more of why I know that, not claim, not believe, no. And when you see it for yourself, you'll see why I keep calling him the pedo in chief, because he is. He's
Hey,
not-
and everyone out there, just know that none of us are suicidal.
Yeah.
We love ourselves. We love our family. We love our homes. We love our life. We love you guys. We love America. Just know. Okay?
Yeah, just know.
They're asking for the link
Just know
to
that.
Rumble.
I have not set it up yet. I'm doing it right now because I can't set it up until it's 24 hours to the time that I'm going to do it. So by the time we're off this show in about an hour after, it'll be there. And on the Patriots page in the community link, I will leave the link to the show itself so you can't miss it. So if you want to find the link to the Rumble and you can't find the Rumble channel, I will leave the link to the actual video itself that we're the live, so you have it. As for people wanting the actual, me get the link to the channel here, so at least you can get it.
Bookmark it, people. Bookmark the link.
Copy, and it's in the chat now. Okay. So for those on YouTube, it's in the chat. But for those who are on Facebook, go check our YouTube channel. Go into the communities page, and that's where I'm going to put it when it's all said and done today. Once it's up and running, You can go there, got it, and you're good to go. So don't miss it, because what you're gonna learn is exactly what the government does not want you knowing.
Great.
No. So the thing is that it was Joe was a granddaughter, Bo and Hunter was his brother's kid. Those are the two sleeping pills that they were doing. Okay, so either way, it's a sick family.
Disgusting.
Either way,
keep it in the bloodline, man. But hey, also on Marlon's point about the link, we also posted on the Savage Patriots Facebook page. So people on Facebook, make sure you go over to the Savage Patriots, because we post every single episode there. Every time we're going on Rumble, we post the links on there. So if you miss it and you can't find it, go to the Savage Patriots Facebook page or the Grizzled Grunt. And I always post the links, or Coy or Marlon. We always post the links on those pages, and the Hooch. So we always post it, so you can't miss it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's at 6:30 Eastern. 6:30 Eastern tomorrow on Rumble.
Speaking of the Hooch as well, you can find us there Sunday at 6 Central Standard Time. So that's 7
AM.
Eastern if you're on these. No, PM. You could do the at 6 a.m. and it's like, yeah, we're doing a morning show.
We are busy, believe it or not, people. We 4 to 5 times a week we're doing podcasts.
That's true.
So
Marlon's the one that has the most.
Yeah.
Well, I'm cutting back here soon. Watch me.
It's a lot. It's a lot of work.
Feeling it, man. I'm feeling it. It's almost as hard as being an electrician working 16 hours a day, bro. It's like,
oh no,
it's a different beast. It's a different beast.
I should have just put the link tree in.
It is a lot of work.
Easier.
I mean, I like it and all, but my body would be like, sir, I hate to break it to you, but I'm shutting down. He's off. He's off. Hold on. Here's the link to the channel one more time. It probably flew up in the chat range. So, but again, you can always find that same link on our YouTube page in the banner. If you just look at the banner, bottom right of the banner, go to your laptop, your desktop, and find it that way. On the left side of the banner itself, there's a little Rumble link on that. You click on that, it'll take you right to the Rumble page.
And share.
Easiest way to find it.
Share with
but
your
tomorrow
people.
will be a show for the ages. And one of these days we're going to be probably more than likely covering the same topic that this movie that's out with Jim Caviezel's topic covering. An in-depth look into the trafficking idea and all that stuff and what they're harvesting and all that stuff. But I think we need to.
That's going to be a
get
good
on
one.
the bandwagon. So
that'll be a good one.
Don't miss tomorrow, please don't miss tomorrow. Tell the people that if they want to know what was on the laptop, come chat. This will be out. This will be out. I have it downloaded. I have to piece it together so it'll be out by Sunday. I promise. It's an actual class. So it'll be out by Sunday. Just keep an eye out for it. It'll drop. It takes me longer to get those together because I can't edit in the week. It's just I don't have enough time. I just have no time. So same time tomorrow, different channel on Rumble. Don't miss it. Be there or be square.
Buckle
Mr.
up.
Lee.
Yep.
So like, share, comment, and subscribe. Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you tomorrow.
Peace.